Right, today is delivery day, and so I'm taking you along with me. We're going delivering. It's Tuesday, not Sunday, so a week since I made the last one, 2 days late. Welcome to week 20 from the ground up, where we are trying to... I'm gonna crash. Delivery drivers, man, he is freaking... Can you see all that smoke? That is not good. We are trying to reseed the infrastructure of food production across the UK, trying to decentralise production, centralise supply, allowing us to actually build a sustainable network of food producers across the country and hopefully one day the world. Now, to do that, I am running 3 different projects. The first of which is building a small farm here in Essex. We've got a small herd of Australian lowline cattle, which are miniature Aberdeen Angus basically, and I'm trying to grow a flock of heritage breed laying hens and breeding them myself, which in hindsight wasn't the greatest idea. We are now 2 years into that project and still only on 350 laying hens. However, we've got 500, really? 400. Yeah, we've got nearly 500 chicks on the ground now, which, oh God, we're going to crash again. Which, 250 of which will be hens, so I'm still shy. I need to fill the house with 300 laying hens for the next house that Dad has currently been building, which is going on a trailer, and so it's the evolution of the polytunnels that we've seen. The chickens have been quite a hard project, I won't lie. We're currently exceeding our customer numbers in the production of eggs, so a lot of our eggs go to charity, but I've kind of just switched off from that for the moment, trying to win customers. I don't want to win customers that I then can't sustain in the future or don't want to sustain, so I've just for that pause that for the moment. We donate a lot to charity. I sell a lot, as many as I can, around the local area as well. The 2 other projects that I'm running, one is social media. It's kind of like what I'm doing here, but predominantly on TikTok at the moment is where I've got most traction thus far. What the goal of that is to build a community of like-minded people, such that when we have got a clear driven goal and purpose, to then be able to push that and share that. And then the third part and the third project is building a platform to be the operating system of food production, and that platform is called Yosis. And it is now live, I'm pleased to say, in Finland, with poultry farmers out there who have just become poultry farmers. We've got 1,400 hens arrive in the last 2 weeks, and they are doing great. They haven't got any eggs yet, so it's been perfect. And that's starting as an e-commerce platform, Yosis. However, it will evolve into operating system for all things farming and connecting whatever systems together, but ultimately trying to drive a single point of data and cohesion across the industry. That, I think, will probably be the main focus on today's episode, because the other 2 are actually a bit parked in light of that one. But before we get on the farm, I don't know if you can tell today, it's a bit of a drizzly day today, which is fantastic news in my book. It's been dry in our little area of Essex for well over a month, if not nearly 2 months now, and so the grass that we put down to seed hasn't taken, and the paddocks that I've been hoping to have well into grazing by now haven't got to a point where I'm happy to start grazing them yet. So that's what we think about a lot. Again, Julian has come to my rescue and secured a load of hay bales for us, which we moved this week. And so yeah, incredibly grateful for him. He's given us another probably 30 days of hay, and so we just got to hope that this sort of rain and weather keeps up. Chickens are doing okay, laying reasonably well. We've got the chicken house is nearly ready. However, Dad wants to do a lot more to it. He wants to sort out the nest boxes, and rightly or wrongly, we bought the nest boxes flat pack this time, and my cousin's got a bender, a metal bending press, and we were going to use that. As with all these projects, we probably should have got them built, but it saved us a few £100. But at the same time, it's now going to cost a lot of time and energy to try and go and get them sorted, and it's blocking. He wants to put them in before we get the chickens in there, which I can understand because it's going to be hard work building a chicken house whilst they're in there. But I got 200 chicks in a run that quickly they will outgrow and start getting bored and attacking one another. So I've got to prioritise them, to be honest with you. So I don't know what that looks like over the next week or so. We've got to get that sorted. But yeah, the chicks in the barn are doing well, 260 in there. All things considered, the farm is going okay. I'm actually really excited to get the farm set up on Yosis, because to talk you so how the system looks today, I manually aggregate all of our orders together, and the orders come through a whole host of different ways: WhatsApp, Facebook. We get orders through a lot of different ways, and maintaining balances and things like, so people accrue a balance because they don't necessarily pay me every week, which I don't mind, but it means that I've got to track that in various different ways. For the wholesale lot, I've got to generate orders invoices manually, and I do that in Google Docs currently, and then print that off each week and save it manually in a folder. There's just lots of little tasks and things like being able to track orders and packing lists each day, all of which I could do on Shopify if I put in more effort at the start. The goal is for Yosis, it's all going to be baked in. So, and Yosis is pretty much ready to go. The next evolution, so Webergs over in Finland are working on their own predominantly to begin with, and we've been doing a lot of subscription and pre-order stuff, multi-language because they're in Finnish, English. Stephen and Johannes are happy with how we're getting on. I couldn't be luckier with my first customers. Really improved the robustness of I won't lie, the front end is definitely vibe coded. The back end, I'd like to say, has got more structure to it than just an agent deciding what it wants to do. But the UI, just because I've not done much in React, although we're actually using a Next app, and you can kind of tell it in the way, when you look at the site, you can kind of tell it's LLM agent driven, just because it's a bit clunky. However, that being said, if you look at Stephen's, I'll drop a link in Stephen's Weberg page. Done a phenomenal job, and he has also vibe coded his. And every time I was telling him the other day, every time I visit it, I'm always blown away by how smooth it looks. So it gives me hope that once I move away from having to do everything in the back end, I can start tidying up the UIs, the shop UIs, and the default shop UIs, which people can obviously customize as they want, because we're actually just an API, and then the UIs just sit on top of it. We've moved on from social media, but effectively no social media for the week. Moving on to then Yosis. We launched this week. Incredible news. Been a very quiet launch. I'm not announcing it anywhere just because I just haven't had the time or headspace, and also the landing page for Yosis isn't quite ready yet. It's also the reasons why I'm not worried that these videos aren't blowing up yet, because it's almost quite intimate, that what we're doing here, and the people that are watching this live and as it happens. I'm getting some really great feedback from you all, so I appreciate you, and thank you for those in the Discord. I'll be putting together a sort of a team meeting, maybe this week, probably next week, on sort of introing those people that are on there already. So if you're not in Discord, jump in the Discord, because I'll be dropping a link to that Zoom meeting or team meeting or whatever meeting in the next week or so. The evolution of Yosis, so Weberg is very much one merchant, and so the remaining work I've got is just to finish and tidy up the work, is to plug multiple merchants together so you can have a single marketplace that sells on multiple merchants and send those orders around. The architecture is all there and designed custom explicitly for that, but it's just tarting it up and tidying it up, allowing me to make sure it's finished in a way that I'm happy with, and the orders flow through as they're expected. So still a lot of work to do. I've got another farmer lined up, going to go and see her. Well, actually I've already spoken to a shepherdess, and she is on board, so we're going to get her set up. The butcher and the baker also dabbling with. Right, we have arrived at the bakery. Right, we'll take you in there. Look at all those chickens. Oh, you bastard. The shells are definitely weak at the moment, which isn't good news for me or the product or anybody really. It means that the chickens are lacking in calcium. Hello Coochie Gang, how are we doing? Yeah, good. We've got 11 loaves this week. Not too bad. And these, I don't take any charge from them currently. Right. And something that I definitely found more and more recently is that people are like, well, you can do this or that to improve your sales, egg round, whatever you want to call it. But my goal with all this is just to understand. Like, I don't actually want to fix. Like, I know the answer is I need to get delivery days. I only do collection one day a week. I only do one collection day a week, and everyone's like, well, if you could deliver or something. Lots of people work, lots of people got jobs, can't turn up on 12 o'clock on a Tuesday, which I completely get. But if I committed to a delivery day today, I'd want to get consistent and offer that delivery day every week and consistently every week, of which I couldn't do. Like, I'd probably do a Friday evening is my currently where I'm sort of circling, late Friday evening or early Saturday morning. But I want to be able to get into a position where I could quite quickly pass that on to somebody else, or at least share that with somebody else in terms of doing it week in, week out. But if I committed now, I could do it, but it would cost the progress of Yosis, social media, and the farm in general. And that's why I've been really cautious about not overcommitting. And it's probably slowed me down a little bit because I don't want to overstep. I've maybe been stung by the companies I worked with in the past of us overreaching before I'm actually in the position to. But it's the same with social media, and it's the same with what we do here. I'm trying not to overreach whilst I don't have the substance and the knowledge, the understanding to do it. I'm starting to get a better understanding of how it works. Same with Yosis, same with the platform and the security around it, etc. Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you. My mother's here.
She is, yeah. I'm father.
Hello, everybody. That's some lack of coordination from us.
I know, you watch Amanda. Hello, Dawn.
No, I'm late. It's a marathon, not a sprint. That being said, in the last few days, I've started seeing like platforms and stuff pop up. There's a kid, literally a kid on social media who's done a poultry platform, which is really cool. It's great for him. But I think we're going to see more and more of that. And I've not actually visited the site, but my fear is, as we're in a position where now everyone can generate platforms, marketplaces, shops, whatever you want to build, really easily, not necessarily robustly and securely. We're going to be in a point where it's going to be another saturated market after we've got so many saturated markets. And I always knew that this software market is going to be saturated, but how I navigate that with Yosis and making sure that I'm basically trying to build something that everyone adopts, and obviously that is unrealistic and never going to happen, but I need widespread adoption for it to really work and then really take hold and then have an impact. And doing that in the face of theoretically anyone being able to spin up a company or operation like that pretty easily is going to be hard work, which is why I've got the social media. It's why I document things here, is that in 2-3 years time, when people come across the platform and they want to understand what the purpose is, they can come through even these videos and understand that right from the start we've been trying to do this in a way that we're trying to make the world a better place. Georgie. Corny as it sounds, actually on the flip side of everyone being able to build a marketplace or whatever with Claude, Gemini, Codex, whoever you're using, does mean you don't have to suddenly have as much VC, venture capital, as you would before. And suddenly that means we can actually start building companies that are built for the customers, for the people that use them, rather than for the investors. And so we see time and time again these private companies, the boards, CEOs taking massive chunks of the income or the value of the company because they run a massive team and because that's what the team needs the money to run. Whereas where we're looking now, whilst I will need investment, I'm hoping I won't need substantial investment. Oh, the lorry's getting stuck on this hill. I won't need substantial investment, and so therefore I'd like to think we can maintain autonomy over that and ensure that I can then spread the wealth with our customers. And so one thing I really want to do is a lot of profit sharing through the platform with the users and the merchants that are on the platform, at the same time trying to keep revenue. What is going on here? Whilst not having to push revenue as the main headline, which is going to be interesting because investors, obviously, revenue and profit is what they care about. It's all they care about. And so we're in a strange place where I am not yet under the crux of that. At the same time, that is what gives you momentum. And you look at Herder, something, basically the new virtual collar system. I'll drop it on the screen here in a link. But you know, we've got in the UK, we've got virtual fencing and Monil, I think it's called, both of which do a reasonable job. However, Peter Thiel is his name. He's just backed one in US and Australia. They've just raised something like $360 million, now valuing the company at $2 billion, because they have pitched it as a horizontal within the market. They've pitched it as a infrastructure rather than just a fencing system. But really, it's just hype. Like at the same, it's just as with all these things, they've just got a good story. And they've told people this is what we want to do, and they've said it's going to be AI powered. Because AI powered is the best, which, as I will always say, and I think AI powered, calling yourself AI powered or AI first is like saying you're Excel first or PowerPoint first. It's just a tool, and a really powerful tool, don't get me wrong, really powerful tool. But if you don't have a strategy, if you don't have a goal or purpose, you're just still a company running it in a fancy Excel spreadsheet somewhere. So that's a really interesting opportunity and something that I'm going to have to try and navigate through social media, trying to spread the power of the company whilst not diluting its purpose and its integrity. But I've, as always, chomping at the bit to get started, because every day, I think at this point, I go on and take longer. The power and impact of the company will be diluted in those first 6-12 months because of the saturation of the market. Same reason I need to then get into social media and start making even long form content like this a bit more interesting and interactive, and just getting traction. Some days I'm utterly confident we're going to do it. Other days I realise that I've left everything I've ever known behind, and if I don't get this done, then I'm stranded. So both lead to the same thing. I don't have an option, we've got to get it done. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you on the next one. Hello, boys. Boof me.